first Delhi Assembly session under the new BJP government has been full of fireworks for all the wrong reasons, and 2 days are still remaining. Today, the national capital witnessed high-voltage drama as Aam Aadmi Party MLAs sat on a dharna protesting against the Speaker's decision to not allow them entry into the Vidhan Sabha premises. Led by former Chief Minister Atishi, who was officially elected as leader of opposition today, the suspended AAP MLAs termed the actions of the BJP government as dictatorial and a murder of democracy.
पुलिस अफसर हैं वो ये बता रहे हैं कि दिल्ली विधानसभा परिसर से आम आदमी पार्टी के विधायकों को बैन कर दिया गया है। वो कह रहे हैं कि उनके पास स्पीकर साहब से आदेश आए हैं कि आम आदमी पार्टी के विधायकों को दिल्ली विधानसभा के गेट पर ही रोक लिया जाए। विधानसभा के सदन में एंट्री नहीं अलाउ होती है अगर आप सस्पेंड होते हैं, लेकिन विधानसभा के मेन गेट से 50 मीटर दूर पुलिस के बैरिकेड लगा के रोकना, ये तो दिल्ली विधानसभा छोड़िए, पूरे देश के विधानसभाओं के इतिहास में कभी नहीं हुआ होगा कि एक चुने हुए विधायक को रोका गया।
Now, calling the situation as unprecedented, the suspended Aam Aadmi Party MLAs decided to sit outside the assembly complex with placards and posters of Baba Saheb Ambedkar. Only one of the 22 AAP MLAs, remember, Amanatullah Khan, was allowed entry into the Vidhan Sabha. In an assembly where the opposition side was entirely empty, Amanatullah slammed the BJP government, accusing them of playing politics of hate. 21 AAP MLAs were suspended on day 2 of the session for disrupting the LG's address as they attempted to accuse the BJP government of insulting Ambedkar and Bhagat Singh by removing their portraits. And Atishi today wrote a letter to President Draupadi Murmu seeking her intervention over the portrait issue and the Speaker's refusal to allow AAP MLAs into the Assembly complex.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी को ये पता होना चाहिए कि वो आम आदमी पार्टी के विधायकों को सदन से निष्कासित कर सकते हैं, विधानसभा के गेट के बाहर कर सकते हैं, लेकिन जय भीम का नारा, बाबा साहब अम्बेडकर की जय जयकार इस शहर के, इस देश के चप्पे चप्पे में गूंजेगी। भारतीय जनता पार्टी ये नहीं रोक सकती है। मैंने राष्ट्रपति को पत्र लिखा है, कल उनसे मिलने का समय मांगा है, क्योंकि आज जो गैर लोकतांत्रिक कदम भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने उठाया है, गैर लोकतांत्रिक, गैर संवैधानिक और गैर कानूनी कदम उठाया है, उसके खिलाफ कल हमने राष्ट्रपति से मिलने का समय मांगा है। कल हम सबसे पहले राष्ट्रपति से मिलने जाएंगे और लोकतंत्र की रक्षा करने के लिए जो जिम्मेदारी है वो राष्ट्रपति के कंधों पर है।
The Bharatiya Janata Party, however, is calling Aam Aadmi Party's actions as a mere drama to divert public's attention from the multiple CAG reports that exposed the previous government's corruption. The ruling government has also cited the Vidhan Sabha rules, which says that suspended members are not allowed inside the assembly complex.
मैं आपकी जानकारी बताऊं, जब विधानसभा से कोई बाहर करा जाता है तो विधानसभा से बाहर होता है, विधानसभा परिसर से बाहर होता है। अगर उनको ज्ञान नहीं है तो इसमें मेरा कसूर नहीं है, क्योंकि 10 साल उन्होंने तो कोई कानून मानना ही नहीं। बाबा साहब अम्बेडकर जी के संविधान को भी नहीं माना। वो तो पीठ के पीछे फोटो लगाते हैं, हम तो पूजा करने के लिए सामने लगाते हैं। वो तो कहते हैं कि हमने बाबा साहब की फोटो पीछे इसलिए लगानी कि देखना ना पड़े पाप कर रहे हैं, पीछे दिखे ही ना कुछ भी। ये आज शराब घोटाला करके उस फोटो के पीछे छिपना चाहते हैं। ये शहीद आजम भगत सिंह जी की फोटो के पीछे छिपना चाहते हैं। आतिशी जी से मैं पूछना चाहता हूं, जब शराब घोटाला किया था तब बाबा जी याद नहीं आए थे? जब आपने शराब के पैसे लूटे थे तब शहीद भगत सिंह याद नहीं आए थे? क्या बाबा साहब अम्बेडकर ने कहा था शराब का धंधा करो? क्या बाबा साहब अम्बेडकर ने आपको कहा था कि एक के साथ एक बोतल फ्री में दो? तब तुम्हें बाबा साहब अम्बेडकर याद ना आए?
It was once again a stormy day at the Delhi Legislative Assembly. Well, as soon as the Aam Aadmi Party MLAs entered, or tried rather to enter the premises, they were met with barricades and enhanced security deployment. The Speaker of the House, Mr. Vijinder Gupta, later in the day has clarified that this was because of the Rule 277D, which lays down that any suspended MLA will be debarred from entering the premises of the House, which also stands for the entire premises of the Legislative Assembly. Well, Well, now Atishi, the LOP of the House, has written a letter to President Draupadi Murmu demanding an immediate meeting between her and the Aam Aadmi Party MLAs to discuss this restriction of movement inside the premises, which they are calling undemocratic. In fact, they also want to discuss the issue of the reshuffling of images of Dr. Ambedkar as well as that of Shahid Bhagat Singh. This entire issue had began on the second day of the proceedings, wherein right at the address of Delhi LG, Aam Aadmi Party MLAs had started sloganeering Jai Bhim over the issue of the reshuffling of the images. Well, tomorrow as well, the Aam Aadmi Party MLAs will remain suspended. They will yet again not be allowed to enter into the House, even as the CAG report on health will be tabled and the discussions will also follow.
All right, for more on this, I'm joined by Pradeep Mahar of the BJP and Advocate Anmol Panwar of the Aam Aadmi Party. Good evening and namaskar to both of you. Advocate Anmol Panwar, let me begin with you. How do you respond to BJP's charges BJP's accusations against the Aam Aadmi Party, saying that it is nothing but a diversionary tactic on part of the Aam Aadmi Party when you know the rules of the Delhi Assembly, suspended MLAs not being allowed inside? Why are you going on protesting?
See, this has happened for the first time in India's history that 21 out of the 22 elected representatives have been expelled not only from the assembly but also from its premises by the BJP government. And the rule which they have cited is incorrect. It doesn't say anywhere that the legislators can be removed from the assembly because they are acting in an authoritarian manner. That is why they are resorting to these kind of dirty tactics. These representatives, I must remind the BJP spokesperson, belong to a party that secured 44% votes of the people of Delhi. And it is the Delhi police officials that confirmed that they received order from the Speaker of the House, who is responsible for upholding democratic principles and ensuring fair proceedings, to stop these MLAs at the gate itself. And now what's interesting is, the moot question is, why were they removed? There are three key reasons why these AAP MLAs were removed from the assembly. Because they were raising voice against the Bharatiya Janata Party's insult to Baba Saheb Ambedkar. They were questioning why his portrait was removed from the Chief Minister's office and why was it replaced with a portrait of Narendra Modi ji. That is why when we raised our slogans, when we raised slogans of Jai Bhim, to inhe dikkat hone lagi. But when the BJP itself was raising slogans of Modi Modi, us samay in pe koi karwai nahi ki gayi. That is for the first reason. The second reason
Pradeep
is
Mahar, you want to
BJP...
respond to what Advocate Anmol Panwar is saying? You know, the fact of the matter is, Pradeep Mahar, understandably, the BJP government wants to bring the CAG reports into the Delhi Assembly and get those details out. But if you don't have the other side against whom you've got the CAG reports, how do you then have a balanced view in the Delhi Assembly? How do you put out the other side of the view? How do you give them an opportunity to defend themselves?
So the Aam Aadmi Party Speaker started the first time in the history of Indian Constitution. So I'll start like that. So first time in the history of Indian Constitution, the CAG report was not placed, not tabled on the Assembly board for the discussion from last 7 years. Understand? How serious is this? They are talking about, why don't move your finger, right? That is the truth. You can't deny it. You can't deny it. Nobody can deny it. From last 7 years, it was not tabled. So when it is going to be tabled? If you are, fair and clean, you should have given the opportunity for a discussion. Instead of discussion, what they were doing is they were shouting. And they were trying to create a ruckus and a chaos in the assembly so that there is a disruption and discussion doesn't happen. So there was no other solution except, moving them out. Because if you want to have a discussion in a proper environment where everybody can be heard, because they were shouting like anything, they just, created unnecessary excuses to shout slogans, and they started shouting. So as far as assembly is concerned, you can definitely use whatever slogans you feel like. But when there is some serious discussion going on, you have to at least involve in the serious discussion. If you are not able to involve, just sit quiet and listen. That's it. And when some question comes over your party, you can answer, so that you can answer. But they did not give the opportunity. They just started shouting, and there was no other remedy except, removing them out because of their indisciplined kind of behavior. As simple as that.
Anmol Pawar, help me understand this and respond to these allegations of the fact that as soon as these CAG reports were tabled in the Delhi Assembly, there were protests and there was a lot of noise that was made by the Aam Aadmi Party. And it seems like the Aam Aadmi Party is on the back foot here with the details that are emerging out of the CAG reports. And we've been showing those graphics on screen of what the key findings were. Apart from that, formation of cartels, wholesaler margin increased from 5 to 12%, permissions for license exemptions not obtained. All of these are questions that remain unanswered on part of the Aam Aadmi Party. Instead, the entire focus has shifted towards the portraits of Baba Saheb Ambedkar and Bhagat Singh.
Shreya ji, the second reason which I was about to cite when you gave the opportunity to the BJP spokesperson was that they have been caught red-handed and they are now trying to evade responsibility, the Bharatiya Janata Party. They want to avoid discussion on this CAG report and the findings of the reports. That is why they suspended all our MLAs. For the last 2 years, we have seen that how the Honorable Supreme Court or how the Honorable High Court have reprimanded them for failing to present any evidence, any money trail or any recovery in the so-called liquor scam. 2 साल से जो ये चिल्ला रहे थे जी इतने 1000 करोड़ का जो है भ्रष्टाचार हो गया, एक चवन्नी की रिकवरी नहीं हो पाई, एक मनी ट्रेल नहीं ढूंढ पाए, एक कोई साक्ष्य नहीं है, कोई सबूत नहीं है. ED and CBI, they were labeled as caged parrots by the Honorable Supreme Court. And now this CAG report has confirmed that no corruption took place. And the claims which were made by our leader Arvind Kejriwal have been proven right. The old policy, which was riddled with corruption and encouraged black marketing, as has been said by in the 7 chapters of the CAG report, there's a comparison between the old and the new policy. And in the 8th chapter, the same CAG report says that the new policy was transparent, efficient, and revenue generating. By the same policy, the excise revenue of the Delhi government increased from 4100 crore to 5400 crore in last 2 years. तो ये सच्चाई है, इससे भागना चाहते हैं. इसमें तो revenue generation हुआ है,
Pradeep Mahar wanted to respond to you.
Not a single evidence.
Okay, Pradeep Mahar, go ahead.
First of all, these people are discussing on the media, and they want to claim that they have all the clarifications of each and every allegation that is coming on that. So why not? They had an opportunity to discuss in the assembly. They could have discussed. It would have been directly there in the media. The points are there. The most important point that comes out is relaxation of 114 crore during COVID period was given in the license fees. I mean, when central government was giving relaxation or subsidy in food for the poor people, or for the people of India, so that they can at least have food during the COVID period. So relaxation was given in the hospitals. That time they were giving relaxation in license fees of liquor bottles. And now they are trying to claim on the media that they are very clean and clear. So this is what the problem is. We tabled it on the floor of assembly. We wanted them to discuss. They were not ready for the discussion. They started shouting.
Okay.
When some serious discussion
Anmol
is going
Pawar,
on, and you keep on shouting.
Anmol Pawar, that's
happen.
one of the arguments that is being placed, that the Aam Aadmi Party has made this entire issue about old policy versus new policy, when in fact the CAG report also talks about the irregularities that were there in the new policy under your government.
Shreya ji, the BJP spokesperson just now said that these CAG reports were not placed for the last 7 years. इन्हें कोई ये समझाए कि थोड़ा पढ़ लिख के आए. 2017 से 21 की CAG report तो 2022 में जारी हुई है. In fact, after 2022, when this new policy was introduced, this new policy was itself introduced in around 2020, and this report came in existence in 2022. And we are not drawing a comparison between old policy and new policy. It is the Comptroller and Auditor General report itself, which says that the new policy was transparent. उसमें तो revenue बढ़ा है, 4100 करोड़ से 5400 करोड़ revenue हुआ है, तो घाटा कहां से हुआ? ये तो basic maths है. It was like, I'll try to explain it from a simple analogy. भाई कोई गाड़ी जो है वो 18 का माइलेज देती है. अब नई कंपनी जो है वो दावा कर रही है कि नहीं, हमारी गाड़ी जो है वो 25 का माइलेज देगी आपको इतने ही पैसे में. अब वो गाड़ी है वो 23 का माइलेज दे रही है, वो 25 से 2 दूर रह गई, तो ये कह रहे हैं जी नहीं, वो गाड़ी खराब है, गाड़ी पुराने वाली से भी खराब गाड़ी है वो. तो इस तरह का तो ये तर्क दे रहे हैं. मतलब eventually it is the exchequer who has
Okay.
the government has helped the exchequer in increasing the revenue. We had a target to increase the revenue to 8,911 crores.
But that's
from
not what the CAG
4,100
reports
crores.
are saying, Advocate Anmol Panwar. They are saying that the exchequer faced a loss of 2,002 crores due to that particular liquor policy. But Pradeep Mahar, respond to what Anmol Panwar is saying.
Yes, Salmon, Anmol Power, इन्होंने बोला कि पढ़ लिख के आना चाहिए. सबसे पहले मैं इनको बोलूंगा प्लीज पढ़ लिख के आइए. CAG report, what is CAG report? CAG report is simple calculation where the accounting of the government is scrutinized, and whatever is the expenditure or the income happens to the government, that is put on the table, right? That is tabulated and presented to the assembly. This is what is the CAG report, and this report is presented every year. So there are total 14 reports that are pending. And he is talking about that, in 2022 this happened and this report is pending. This is not the only report. There are so many other, last 7 years, if it is not tabled. So from last 7 years, whatever the government did, that should be discussed. Huh? That should be, this is what we are saying. You did not table. So did you ask him that did your government got it tabled in front of the assembly in last 7 years? Yes or no? Second, I asked a simple question.
Pradeep Mahar, the fact of the matter
crores.
is also what Aam Aadmi Party is saying, that there has been nothing established, nothing concrete that has been established in the multiple cases against multiple Aam Aadmi Party leaders in this particular case.
Who is going to establish this and how it is going to be established? First of all, there has to be a discussion in assembly. That after the discussion, a committee will be formed. If there is some discrepancies that are found, then committee is going to list those discrepancies and they are going to evaluate that. And then if there is some kind of a case, it will go to the court. So in the first step itself, you are shouting that, there are no allegations. If there are no allegations, just so clean. Come on, discuss. That is as simple as that. Why are you running away from discussion? This is what we are saying.
Anmol Panwar, you want to respond?
Shreya ji,
there is the kind of, howling going on in the assembly. So this is the kind of behavior these people have. So if you have that behavior,
okay, Pradeep Mahar, you've made your point. Let Anmol Panwar respond to you before I wrap this up then.
Shreya ji,
Anmol Panwar, go ahead.
When the BJP
answer about
spokesperson...
114 crores.
When the BJP spokesperson itself is saying that there needs to be a discussion on this CAG report, then why have they suspended our MLAs? Why? Because they don't need a discussion. Discussion akele vyakti ka thodi na hota hai. And they are citing this rule 277. I have with me this same rule 277. I would like the BJP spokesperson to point out the specific clause where it's mentioned that the MLAs are to be thrown out of the assembly premises in case they don't maintain law and order. ये बताएं कौन सा है ऐसा provision? I mean, this has happened for the first time. इतनी तानाशाही तो आज तक किसी विधानसभा में नहीं हुई. What they are displaying right now, this is brazen display of authoritarianism by the Bharatiya Janata Party.
So you are having a tie-up with
I'll have to wrap this up here.
Party. Can I answer this?
No, Pradeep Mahar, I have to wrap this up here. But, okay, quickly, 30 seconds and then I have to wrap this up.
No, the whole kind of chaos they have created on the photographs. I'll tell you the
specific rule, specific clause bataiye na.
They had
specific clause bataiye.
Wait a moment. Don't try to disrupt now. At least on the media, right? They had a tie-up with Samajwadi Party, right? So Samajwadi Party, Azam Khan, called Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar as a land grabber, who mafia. So this is the kind of party they had a tie-up in Delhi elections. They were recently, right? So now they are shouting that there is a photograph not at the back. So if you place a photograph in front instead of placing it at the back, what is the problem? This is not a big issue. Somebody... Okay,
Pradeep Mahar, you've made your point. I have to wrap this up. But to both the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party, just remember that amid your political war of words, there's also Delhiites who are looking at the new government to ensure that there is development of, whatever challenges that Delhiites are facing in the national capital. Those are improved, those are negated in the new government. With that, let me also thank Pradeep Mahar and Advocate Anmol Panwar for joining us on the broadcast.